Building strength and health through exercise, the role of exercise in your program of healthful living. For real buoyant health, the kind that provides the greatest strength and energy, you must exercise. This is a law which no one can ignore without paying the consequences. We have those in our midst who claim that athletes die young, and that the huge, ugly muscles of the professional strongman are not conducive to a long life. But the truth is that athletes do not necessarily die young, and that the muscles of the strongman are not ugly. Well-developed muscles add to the appearance of anyone. Exercise should not be considered a specific therapeutic agent to be used in remedying all diseases, but a health-building agent. When you exercise, you stimulate the functional activities throughout the body. The flow of nutritive material to the cells is increased, the joints of the body are made more agile, the circulation of the blood and other fluids is stimulated. The body is given a much-needed additional supply of oxygen because of the enforced deep breathing, and the vital organs are stimulated into greater activity. Through exercise you improve the condition of your entire body. The Greek ideal. We should look back and admire the ancient Greeks for the use they made of exercise. Throughout the Grecian lands were many gymnasiums in which the people could engage in gymnastics, swimming and other physical activities. The Greeks respected the athlete above everyone else. One could be poverty-stricken one day but could rise to fame, riches and honor on the following day if he performed some great athletic feat. Every 4 years the Greeks held their Olympic Games, and these were the occasion for great festivities and amusement. The Greeks regarded them as the most important events in all Greece and would give up almost anything to participate in them or to attend them. In addition, physical culture was the chief subject taught in the Grecian schools. In fact, these schools devoted more time to teaching physical culture than to all other subjects combined. The aim of the Greek was to attain perfection of mind and body. He felt that he could best do this by devoting attention to physical exercise, and indeed he was quite successful. The average Greek was far better developed than is the typical civilized man of today. The old Greek works of sculpture and art show quite clearly his superior development. The greater part of the art of Greece was concerned with the glorification of the human body, and the poets of ancient Greece never tired of singing of the beauty of their gods and goddesses. They fairly worshipped the beauty which results from giving attention to physical culture. It would be well if there were a rebirth here in America of the Grecian attitude toward exercise. We need a new appreciation of the value of physical culture and body perfection. It should be the aim of every American to build his body, through the help of exercise, to a high level of development and beauty. We should have gymnasiums in every city, making it convenient to engage in exercise. We should make physical culture a subject in all schools. In short, we should make better body development a foundation of our life. The fall of physical culture. The so-called Golden Age of Greece disappeared with the advent of Christianity. In 394 AD the emperor ordered all gymnasiums in Greece closed. The Christians, with their prudish viewpoint toward the human body, could not tolerate physical culture. So for hundreds of years, in fact, for over 1,000 years, the physical culture was given almost no attention in the educational systems of the Western world. People failed to place any appreciable importance upon the body exercise. In the 16th century there occurred in Germany and Sweden a rebirth of physical culture. But this was chiefly in consideration of military needs. The Germans, and to a lesser extent, the Swedes, regarded exercise as necessary for the development of strong soldiers. Eventually the German and Swedish system of exercise, chiefly gymnastic training, was imported to America and taught in some schools. But the conventional schools of healing, including medicine, never did give it due attention. Dr. Trail's Hydropathic College of New York was the only medical school which gave an extensive course in physical culture. and matters still stand about the same way today. The School of Medicine still doesn't consider physical exercise to be of any great importance. Medical schools still do not teach their students physical culture, and probably not 1% of the physicians employ exercise in their practice. Only the hygienic system has given exercise a prominent position. Exercise and disease. Though exercise is chiefly of value in health maintenance rather than as a health-restoring measure, there are some diseases which call for much exercise if recovery is to be expected. Chief of these are hernia, spinal deformities, infantile paralysis and varicose veins. It is practically impossible to correct any spinal curvature without giving exercise due attention over an extended period of time. The only natural remedy of hernia consists chiefly of exercise. Not all hernias may be corrected by exercise, but many can. Victims of the various forms of paralysis must exercise if they are to regain control of the affected areas. Of course, exercise alone will not remedy paralysis, but it is the most important hygienic measure to be employed. As for varicose veins, they have frequently been remedied through exercise alone, although the most rapid results are attained if a fast precedes the use of exercise. Running is the most effective exercise in cases of varicose veins. Some forms of exercise. The use of athletics is desirable in any exercise program. Football, basketball, baseball, tennis, swimming, track and handball all possess value in developing the various parts of the body. But it should not be assumed that each is a complete exercise in itself. Athletes who concentrate almost entirely upon one type of sport do not acquire a good all-around development. Some parts of the body are overdeveloped at the expense of others. A varied athletic program, one which includes the use of several different sports, is best. Perhaps the sport which places into action more parts and muscles of the body than any other is swimming. Gymnastic activities are also good as all-around body developers. There are many who engage in considerable physical labor and consequently believe that they do not need any extra exercise. But there are very few, if any, kinds of work which form complete exercise programs. Work is in no sense capable of developing the body to a great extent. Most forms of work call for the use of only a few body parts most of the time, and even these are not exercised strenuously. Real, worthwhile exercise consists of more than one body movement. Many people in their daily activities are continually moving about, but their muscles remain poorly developed. The best exercise calls for real exertion. If the exercise you do calls for no particularly great effort, it is of little value. And as most forms of physical work do not call for any strenuous activities, they are inadequate. They do not supply you with the exercise you need in order to possess the best state of health. A great deal of misinformation has been given in recent years about the value of walking as an exercise. Walking is called the best of exercises, one which will do much to improve the general condition of the body. But from the standpoint of science, walking is of little value. It is a good exercise for lazy people, and that is about all. Walking really is equivalent to most forms of work. It allows simple, almost effortless body movements. Instead of attempting to walk your way to health, you should run your way to health. Running is not a complete exercise, but it can do wonders in building strong, well-developed legs. It also induces deep breathing and is a good exercise for the lungs. The fact that deep breathing is desirable doesn't mean that you should engage in special forms of this exercise. In recent years, much has been written about special breathing exercises, which involve inhaling a certain number of breaths through the nose and exhaling them out through the mouth, and vice versa. These exercises also call for holding the breath at periodic intervals and attempting to drive the inhaled air to various parts of the body by getting all tangled up in very awkward positions. Many such exercises had their origin in India and were first used as a means of acquiring special mental powers. They were a part of the training of the Indian exponents of the yogi philosophy. From a purely hygienic standpoint, these special breathing exercises, which call for forced deep breathing in the absence of regular physical exercise, are of little or no value. Deep breathing is a fine thing when the body calls for it, but it is unnecessary to make a conscious effort to breathe deeply at all hours of the day. When there is need for more air, the body calls for it and you naturally breathe deeply. In the absence of this demand, the use of forced deep breathing is highly questionable, to say the least. It probably does not harm the body, but neither does it help any. It is best to leave the array of breathing exercises to the yogi philosophers from whom they came. You can give your lungs all the exercise they need and supply the body with all the oxygen it needs simply by indulging in some good physical exercise from time to time. Don't let age stop you. There are no age groups of people who should not exercise. Physical activity will help you whether you are 10 years old or 80 years old. The newest medical philosophy advises one to participate in no appreciable amount of exercise after 40. It is quite true that many people, after living for 40 years upon refined, revitalized foods, are too weak to indulge in much exercise. Perhaps it is this which has prompted medical authorities to restrict exercises to young people. However, chronological age and physiological age don't always go hand in hand. There are some people who, at the age of 60, are as young from a physiological standpoint as those who have lived only 30 years. And there is no reason why such people should not exercise. People who live upon the conventional diet age prematurely. They are too weak to exercise at an age when they should be in their top physical condition. If you use only natural foods, you can exercise at regular intervals throughout your life. The Huns of India play polo at the age of 80, and you can be active at that age too if you follow a proper mode of living. Other primitives are also capable of engaging in strenuous exercise in their advanced years. The heart and exercise. It has often been claimed that the heart is damaged during strenuous exercise, but there is no evidence to indicate that this is true. The heart is really benefited by both light and heavy exercise. The so-called athletic heart is commonly spoken of as a diseased heart and is generally found among athletes. However, an athletic heart is simply an enlarged heart and is in no sense diseased or damaged. It is only natural that the heart muscle should increase in size as it is exercised, just as any other muscle does. And this increase in size is desirable. It indicates a better developed and stronger heart. There are some cases in which an enlargement of the heart is associated with disease, but this is never due to exercise. A pathological enlargement of the heart muscle is not to be confused with the normal enlargement of the heart muscle which has been exercised at periodic intervals. Tests of athletes have shown that these people do not suffer from real heart disease any more often than do others. In fact, their hearts are probably in better than average condition. Weightlifting. One of the best forms of exercise for developing great strength and good all-around body development is weightlifting. It not only develops and strengthens the arms, but also develops strong shoulders, a strong back and strong legs. When a great many varied exercises with dumbbells and barbells are employed, the body gets the most benefits. Under such conditions, more muscles are used and a more uniform body development follows. For real strength, weightlifters are unsurpassed. The professional and strong men are usually weightlifters. It is likewise true that those who possess the most beautiful and well-developed bodies are weightlifters. Do not make the mistake of attempting to gain great strength by lifting light weights. It is true that you must start your program with light weights, but these are only used temporarily as a means of gradually accustoming your body to weightlifting. You can lift a 10 pounds weight 1,000 times a day, but doing so will not enable you to lift 100 pounds weights. You gain the ability to lift heavy weights only by lifting them. Lifting a light weight 100 times a day will give you less strength than lifting a heavy weight 10 times a day. Always remember to keep the back straight when lifting heavy weights. You will be able to lift only a fraction as much when the spine is curved as when it is straight. Every experienced porter knows that, when the spine is curved, it is almost impossible to move a 1,000 pounds case. He stands at arm's length from the case, rests his hands against some part of it, and with his back perfectly straight does the pushing, thus gaining the full power to the legs and the back. The weightlifter should apply the same principle to his work. How and when to exercise. The all-important rule to remember in exercising is to increase the various movements in progression. The first exercises should be relatively mild and short of duration. Each successive day you may use heavier exercises over a longer period of time. Starting to exercise perhaps 5 to 10 minutes per day with light, simple movements, you may gradually, after a period of weeks or months, reach the point where you can exercise a half hour to an hour a day. Of course, no set rules can be laid down as to the rate of progression. This must always depend upon the individual. Some, who have always possessed reasonably strong bodies, can progress very rapidly. For others, particularly those who possess a history of weakness and disease, several months may be required before the heaviest forms of exercise, such as weightlifting and gymnastics, should be indulged in for any appreciable length of time. It is the best policy to take the more strenuous exercises only about 5 or 6 days a week. Exercising every day without exception probably does no harm, but it will not produce rapid results. The real growth of muscles takes place between the exercise periods while the muscles are resting. Resting the muscles is as important as exercising them. The whole essence of bodybuilding consists of alternate exercise and rest. If one does only light exercise for short periods, no special rest days are desirable or necessary. But for the greatest strength you will want to do at least some heavy exercise, and under such conditions there will have to be more rest periods. Many do the heavy exercises about 3 or 4 times a week, and on the other days they do just light exercises. This is a good plan and does not necessitate any special rest days. Alternating each day with light exercise and heavy exercise also provides the muscles with sufficient rest. It is generally desirable, especially in cases of greatly impaired health, to precede a program of exercise with a fast. This is not essential, but it will enable you to progress with your exercises more rapidly. By giving your body a thorough cleansing through fasting, you will be in a better position to exercise. You will suffer less readily from fatigue and will be able to do the movements more easily. Make your exercise program as varied as possible. During the summer months, make the fullest use of swimming, tennis and other outdoor sports. In winter, ice skating is a popular sport, along with skiing. Engage in some form of exercise in your own home at periodic intervals. There are many books and physical culture magazines which describe the hundreds of such exercises, and by reading these you can learn numerous movements which are of much value. Then, if you desire great strength, you can get some barbells or dumbbells for home use. Also, in nearly every large city there is at least one gymnasium. These are generally equipped with numerous forms of apparatus which permit many good forms of exercise. Above all, do not consider exercise to be some sort of difficult chore which you must indulge in to have good health. Look forward to your periods of exercise with delight, as the child looks forward to his periods of play. After all, exercise is nothing but play. For the really healthy person, it is something to look forward to. A healthy, youthful body craves exercise. It craves activity. Notice any child and you will see that it is continually running, moving about and playing. It is only in a condition of physiological old age and disease that people shun exercise. Build health first. Eliminate toxemia and remineralize your body with natural uncooked foods. Then you will be enthusiastic about exercise. You won't think about whether or not you should do it. You will simply take it as a matter of course, as you would take any other form of entertainment or play.